What
Well,
up? Welcome back, everybody,
hey,
to another episode of Four Corners Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Valley Uno.
and I'm your host, Miss Mai Mai.
What's
And
up?
I'm your host, Tusa.
What's up? It's your boy Diesel. These are the locomotive. My phrases need to be quoted. We back at it.
Let's go, baby.
Hey, welcome everybody to season 2, episode 1 of Four Corners Legacy Podcast. We know you missed us. We know you did.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What we got going on today?
Man,
How's everybody feel?
I feel good. Feel good. It's good to be back. It was a nice little break. I think it was much needed. Yeah, and it feels good to be back on.
I feel a little more authentic, a little less fake.
Well, shit, we were never faking it, you know.
No.
Mhm.
The
Well, I
realest
feel
ever
good.
do it.
You guys like my new hairstyle?
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah,
digging it.
I love it.
Digging it.
Love it. I
It's
feel
got
good
some-
to be back doing the show. I've enjoyed the time away, though. I was a little resistant to go off of the air for a little bit, but I think everybody needed it, and I
Mhm.
especially enjoyed the break. So yeah, it's good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I felt like them Sundays was like every other day.
real talk.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
The days started running together at some point.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, especially work.
Anything?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say anything that anybody did, anything particular you want to talk about that you had fun during your break?
Well, I mean, y'all know, my little one was out here visiting for the summer, so that's been an experience. Had some excitement with that, you know. Y'all also know I finally went ahead and did a thing. I went and got that motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
so been burning up the road on two wheels a little bit, having some fun. Yeah.
Good.
Hmm.
Well, I went to New York, seen the Statue of Liberty. That was very nice.
Hmm.
Seen the black lady that they want to portray as a white woman.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So you did like the little Times Square and all that?
Yeah, when we went to Times Square, it's overrated.
Is it?
Yes, it's dirty as hell. Um, crazy ass people out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And they're out there with kids at 2:00 in the morning.
It's the city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
Right.
Fool was out there with two boa constrictors, asking people, do they want to take pictures? Hell no, I don't want to take no picture with no snake.
Hmm. They take a bite of you.
Right. If
Fool
it
was
had been a,
taking
if
pictures
it
with
had
them now.
been a monkey or a parrot, would you have
I'm not
taken
gonna
a
bite
picture?
it.
They had the parrot too. I'm not paying $40 to do that.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm not paying you no money to put my safety at risk.
Big ass parrot, big ass snake.
No, dude, delicious.
People was paying it though.
Oh shit.
Well, that's his hustle. You can imagine going out there to Times Square every single day or 5 days a week, charging
Mhm.
$40 a pop. That's a come up. So
Yeah, because he's getting
well,
bread.
just in that short time that we were standing by him, like 10, 15 minutes, he had like 5 different people took pictures with it.
Yeah.
crazy.
So I mean, yeah, if he do that 20 times a day, he's sitting fat, you know. Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure he did it more
And
than
he's
20
doing it a
times.
whole lot more than that. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Benet Love Bailey for tuning in. What's up with you?
What's
What's up,
up,
Renee?
Benizi?
Hey.
Thank you, family.
Right. Thank you for coming back and tuning in.
Yes,
Yeah.
lady.
Got some loyalty. Yeah, some loyal fans.
Loyalty.
Yeah, I'm about to hit Benet up on the backside because me and her need to do some work together. I need to have her do some work with her.
Okay.
It's all about networking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before we get into it, I know we ain't been on here in a minute, so it might not necessarily be current affairs, but it was something that I wanted to speak on just because I just got the biggest kick out of it. So when Cardi B was performing and the person threw the drink on her and she shot back with that microphone, that nigga had sharpshooter aim. I was like, damn, how she throw that mic right at the motherfucker who threw this?
Because they threw a drink on it.
Yeah, built up aggression, like, and she.
Yeah.
And you know that shit hurt, right? You know.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's how she was throwing them drugs in them niggas' drinks.
Don't come for my sis, Cardi B. Like,
oh man. Yeah. I thought that was off the chain. Mm-hmm.
So since we've been away, we had there's been a lot of shit that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things going on. One of the big things, I don't know if you guys had heard anything about Africa and how they have decided that they are going to team up. They say they support Putin and they are trying to get rid of the US dollar and the value of the US dollar. They don't want to deal with us no more. They're done. You know what I mean? And Putin gave them some grain and forgave their debt. And that's huge. That's going to affect America down the way. I don't think it's getting a lot of the publicity. That's why they're always doing these distractions and stuff. But I feel like Africa taking this stance, it means a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember we talked a little bit about that before when we were covering some topic, but you know, we highlighted those BRICS countries because it's basically that's it all falls under that same umbrella that these people working together to basically abandon the US dollar in their country for it to be utilized for any type of purchases or trade.
Well, I just think it's big that all parts of Africa, it's not just South Africa, Africa altogether, they're trying to do some things. They're saying we are not a broke country. You know what I mean? Stop portraying us as a broke country. We got money over here. We got the things that you guys need, like places like France, in order to run the country. So stop playing it in my face, basically.
Basically, all the means of production are not in America. But the biggest part is that it's like, if you want something from America, you got to pay quadruple because they're the way they have the value, the dollar value. So if it costs $100 out here, they got to pay $3,000 out there to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why they're like, fuck it.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was big.
What was I going to say about that? Oh, with them abandoning the US dollar, you know, one of the big issues that they have with it is that it's not backed by any natural resource. Of course, it was at one point in time, but that is no longer the case. You know, they print new money, you know, it's based just out of thin air. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not backed by any natural resource. So it really holds no value. It's monopoly money. It's old school food stamps if you really break it down. You know.
So can you think about the big effects? Like if all those other places are teaming up and they start Xing us out on trade stuff, how huge of effect it's really going to have in the long term?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's just part of, and I could be wrong, but you know, I think it's part of the overall plan that have been put in place by the people who basically run or have control of this system. It's part of the whole process of creating order out of chaos. The chaos has to arise first, and I think this is one of the elements of the chaos at play.
Right, and him being the big man, him have to make them catches.
Oh, she said now she got a warrant for assault.
They dropped it already, though.
Did they? Okay. Because I hadn't really been up on it. You know, I was just so impressed by the impeccable aim. You know.
of the
Mhm.
arm she had.
Yeah, yeah. It was Cardi Brady. Oh shit. Yeah, but I mean, we ain't got a delay to get into it since we didn't really, you know, want to jump right in with the current affairs because nothing is really current. We've been gone for so long. But conspiracy theories.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
It's crazy when you think about it, you know, conspiracy theories or conspiracy theorist. You know, if you find yourself getting called a conspiracy theorist, it usually just means that you're somebody who thinks outside the box and is willing to look at shit at a deeper level and not take everything in front of you at face value. So somebody called me a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, thank you.
Right.
That's, you know, it was a good compliment. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, don't hate on me because I can see things a little bit more clearly. Okay.
Mhm.
Right, right.
Well, because a lot of people just believe what somebody tells them, you know, and like we always talk about this on the show about being conditioned and trained into certain thought processes. So
Mhm.
that's what makes them so far fetched when they hear something outside of that. It does seem like, okay, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like you said, it's not really an insult to use the other half of your brain to think of it another way. Because there is some shit going on, you know, it's big time cover ups going on.
Yeah, yeah. And we've seen them all throughout modern American history, you know, one after another, you know, whether it be, you know, Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all these things, people saying, oh, the government had something to do with that. Those were labeled as conspiracy theories. And as the decades went on, the truth came out and was revealed that it was never a theory. It was
Right.
just somebody who was able to see beyond the veil that they was putting in front of our eyes. You know, this shit was really conspired by the government.
Well, and that's the words that I was getting ready to say out of my mouth. So would it be safe to say that the government is one of the, you know, the biggest bullshitters out there, and that, you know, the things that we hear, they're not conspiracy theories. These are truths that are finally coming out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like you talked about the death of Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, even coronavirus, when we were talking that, you know, like there's so many ways you can flip it with things that have happened in the government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They cloned Tyrone.
I haven't had a chance to see it.
That's like research. You got to watch that.
Right. I haven't seen it yet. And I definitely heard that a lot of the stuff that they were saying is truths to it, you know?
You damn near got to watch that tonight. And
Right away.
it's a dope flick. Since you haven't seen it, I ain't gonna say too much about it, but it's definitely worth the watch. And you got to watch it like you in a class, like you got to do a report on it. You know, if you watch it from that perspective, it's countless. It's a lot of shit that's going on in that film. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it yet, sis? They
No, I
cloned
haven't
Tyrone.
seen it. Oh yes, I did see it. I'm sorry, I had to step away from the camera. That was crazy, and it just lets you know that we really don't know what's going on, because we don't know what's going on with a lot of stuff. It could be, man, the government controls everything.
I think we know. We just don't really have a lot of confirmation. You know what I mean? But deep down, we do know. That's how these sort of conversations come about. We
know that they're putting something in the food.
Right. We know that to be true.
We know that that's true from the movie. That they're putting something in the food to attract certain cultures to eat the food, because you know, even though I eat fast food from time to time, I hate the fact that you know it's bad for you
and still eat the shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that part. You know, this shirt makes my arms look. Yeah, I hate it.
Crazy.
Where did that come from? Okay.
I'm just looking at how buff my arm looks. My arm looks real buff when I put it up there.
Hercules, look how buff I look.
Hey, Johnny Oaks said swole.
What's up with Johnny Oaks? What's up with you, bro? Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of food, that's another thing that, is different from last season to this one. Y'all know this already, but just sharing it with the followers, the audience. I haven't eaten meat since of any sort since the last week of May. It was something that I had been wanting to get back on because I did the pescatarian diet, just eating seafood as far as a meat source for a good while. And I fell off of that when I was driving over the road. But anyway, I wound up getting food poisoning to the 15th power. And it was enough for me to just say, you know what? I need to stop eating this shit. I'm not going to consume no dead flesh going forward. And I haven't since the end of May. And without even instituting any sort of exercise, I done already dropped 24 pounds.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. So
eating, but I lost 40. So
yeah. So just as we talking about the shit that they do to the food, some of it is really just our eating habits, things that we've eaten our whole life, so we don't really think about it. But even if you're eating a certain diet and you're not eating fast food, you're still consuming shit that's being tampered with, by the Food and Drug Administration,
Yes,
or they're allowing the tampering, however you want to put it. Mm-hmm.
That's true. I did a meat-free week just to see if I could go without meat. And the thing, you look at it different when preparing it than you did, and that's the thing. So I'm not sure that I could jump right into a changing it of a lifestyle, but I do view meat a little bit differently, when I'm looking at it. And I think that going to eating seafood, because I love salmon, I love shrimp, crab, and stuff like that. I could see myself still eating that, but I eat a lot of chicken, and it's the one thing that I'm like, I don't know. The others, like red meat, when you know how long it takes to digest, and like you said, all the hormones and everything that's going into the food, you really you lose your interest in it. Food is meant to be for us to just the body to survive. It's not for us to, gluttony, I love to eat this. But that's how it's become, because we love cookies, we love ice cream. We eating it because we love the way it tastes, instead of is this just like fueling our body?
Absolutely.
Well, if you switch to seafood, you're definitely gonna watch the scale go down for sure. Even if you just said fuck it and stop eating any other meat and just stuck to seafood, you'll notice that you'll trim down off top.
One of the first things I noticed was there's no stomach bloat. You know what I mean? Yeah. You ain't eating meat. Your body just processes your food intake a whole lot faster. You don't never be sitting around feeling busted like, damn, I ate too much. None of that.
And you got to have long periods in between eating. Like, say, if you get up and you eat at 10 o'clock in the morning, you damn near can wait until 10 o'clock to the next morning to eat.
She said, make sure to get off that dairy. I haven't had any kind of milk in 10 years. So, yeah, that's a good one. But I love cheese. I love cheddar cheese. I love sharp cheddar cheese.
Me too. Me too. Cheese. Oh, my God.
Cheese, please.
Yes. That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
But it's strangely enough, one of my daughters, she doesn't, cheese and dairy and all that stuff, she's very much, it makes her really, really sick. So she doesn't like to eat dairy and stuff, and she can't eat it every time she does. So, and if you've ever looked at the process of milking a cow, you will look at milk very much differently if you see that.
It's the damn enchiladas.
But in milking a cow, when they put those things on it, and they're it's just like, not just people. Back in the day, people used, but now it's the machines are milking the cow, and they're milking them until the cow starts to bleed.
Yeah,
And that's in the milk.
absolutely. Yeah, those blood
I don't,
particles
yeah,
are in there.
yeah. I'm not a milk fan like that.
Man,
I have like it's
But
very
I eat cereal. I eat
milk.
cereal. Other
Yeah,
than
see, I
that, I'm
don't
not
even eat cereal like that. I might eat
really.
cereal, say 2 or 3 times a year.
They clone Diesel. They can clone Diesel.
no, I feel him on that though. Like because I think cereal is another thing that because of the level of preservatives in it. Hit the doorbell. Because of the
Cereal
level
has
of preservatives in you notice that there's a significant stomach bloat. At least for me, like I can eat a bowl of cereal and it feel like I just ate steak and potatoes. That
Wow.
is a clear-cut indication that I'm not supposed to be eating that. It's like your body is having an inflammatory response to it. So you got to listen to that, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's real
people
shit.
that live off of cereal look like skeletons because there's no nutritional value.
Well, that's not my case because it blows me up too, Bonnie. I mean, Valley.
Say it again.
I said cereal blows me up too. And
Mm-hmm.
my doctor told me, Kasabi, you're gonna have to stop eating cereal. You got to
Mhm.
stop eating cereal.
Mm-hmm.
It has cancer causing shit in it. Cereal is what they call a genetically modified food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's filled with the GMOs. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's why you can't fuck with cereal.
Mhm.
Even-
I love cereal though. I have
And that's my thing too.
I
I
have
don't
affairs with
eat it.
cereal.
I don't eat it as much as I used to, but I love a good bowl of cereal. Like
I
you
love
know,
it too.
Even oatmeal though, like when you if you getting like the quick oats, no bueno. You got to
Really?
do the old fashioned, and you'll notice the difference when you eat if you was to make a bowl of quick oats and then the next morning do the old fashioned, you're gonna notice the difference of how your body moves
Responds.
that through you. Yeah.
But you can't put no sugar and no butter in it.
Well,
Yeah, you
I'm gonna put some butter in it, but I don't really do the sugar. I if I'm gonna sweeten something, I'll do it with honey. You know, yeah.
Do you use organic honey?
Sweet.
Maybe I'll try it.
I did this last time I bought some, and I hadn't before because I just don't like the price tag on it. But if you're not getting that real raw honey, you're not actually even eating honey. So it was like, well, I guess I got to go ahead and buy this, $17. and
Wow. I gotta buy a $17 4-ounce jar of honey. It's a $17 4-ounce jar of honey.
Man, listen.
I got some honey though. I got some honey that Kai had made. Some
That-
of the
Yeah, that's different kind of honey.
That nigga Valley used to eat honey sandwiches.
Well, the honey that
Jelly
Kai
sandwiches
makes
when he
it
was
goes
kid.
in the tea. I couldn't see you because she puts ginger and turmeric in it. You can't put that in the oatmeal, but you could use that for your teas and stuff. It's really good for you.
What do you mean you can't put it in your oatmeal?
No, I'm talking about she said the honey that Kai made, and she
Why
puts.
can't you?
I mean, it just to me the taste wouldn't. It's not going to be a sweet taste in your food then.
Yeah,
she
I
put-
think it's more or less to just give it a little more flavor. It's not necessarily to sweeten it because I could eat a bowl of oatmeal by itself with just butter in it, but you get so much of that oat, dusty, earthy, grainy flavor. I need something to cut that. You can put fruit in it too. I seen that in the comments. You can put fruit in it for sure, but I think butter and honey is as long as you don't overdo it.
She says agave. Agave is not sweet to me.
I think you got to use more of that than you do of the honey to get the same effect.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I like the flavor of the honey. The honey flavor itself, is different than the agave. Yeah.
So outside of the food, what are some of the other big things that you felt like not just the movie showed, but some of the other conspiracy theories that are out there in regards to what's going on in America?
Oh man, where do you start?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so let's talk about the vaccine.
the what?
Vaccine.
Okay, let's go. Come on with it.
Right. So the vaccine, was that okay? Was that a piece of shit? Because they say, okay, you got to go get this. Then you need to go get another one if you bought this brand. Then you need to go get a booster. I mean, were they just blowing smoke up our ass? And
Absolutely.
yeah.
They were blowing smoke, man. You got smoke coming out your ears. That's how much smoke there's blowing up people's ass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I think it goes prior to the vaccine.
To
You
the
know,
whole corona.
yeah, and I'm not to say, because I don't want to be insensitive to anybody who has lost family members or, people that's close to them as a result of quote unquote COVID-19. But I never really believed that what was going on was what they were calling it. And I most certainly didn't believe the numbers that they were pumping out. I didn't been driving trucks for 17 years, and I know what the inside of a 53-foot trailer looks like. And when they had them videos of the trailers so-called parked outside the morgue in New York, saying that they were filling them up with bodies. Do you realize how many human beings you gonna stack up in one of those trailers, let alone three of them? It's like, come on,
Holds
guys.
80,000 pounds.
Come on, guys. Who
I
do you
mean,
think
I
you're
believe-
talking to?
Right. I know.
But
that
another thing
people
is,
were
where did
dying.
they take?
People were dying. People were definitely dying. I don't know that they probably did blow the numbers up, because at the time of COVID, Niche worked in the hospital. So there were definitely people dying. There were people on ventilators. How do we explain that? If you're opposing if you're going up against our theories on that they made the shit up, how do you explain the actual deaths to someone?
No,
Niggas
they didn't
die
make
every
it up.
day, B.
Huh?
They didn't make it up.
Niggas die every day, B. you don't know. But I'm saying though, like we were being told that these people were dying of COVID. You understand what I'm saying? People might have been dying, but was it COVID?
Right.
Were they dying as a result of an illness?
Yeah, because it's a fact. It's a known fact that everybody that died during that time was just listed as COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's my daughter said that too. But one of the things too, so they said, and this is me talking just as a conspiracy theorist and okay with it, that majority of the people who died from COVID were elderly, and that they were just trying to, because of the things that are going on with Social Security, they were just trying to kill off a bunch of older people. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can never put anything past the government.
You can. And I think that is one of them conspiracy theories that's worthy of a second look, because again, we know that the US dollar ain't backed by nothing, you know what I mean? And they like, okay, it's people getting up in age, and we about to have to start paying out money that we ain't really got, you know what I mean? So to your point, I think it goes right along with this comment, because she said her daughter's grandmother, so an elderly
Right.
individual,
Yes.
cremated her without her family's permission. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
I just think that's a big deal.
Yes, it's a big
And
deal.
it happened to a lot of people,
Right.
and, they don't know where like she said, they didn't get their ashes and stuff. That is some messed up shit right there.
And that's some cold stuff. And it just goes to show the extent that the government will go to. The CDC kept her ashes.
Ain't
That's
that
awful.
some shit?
That's awful. My condolences for your
Mhm.
daughter's loss. That's awful. And like Valley said originally, no disrespect to anybody who lost a family member. We know people were lost. It's just, the scandalous stuff that they did behind the loss. Now that makes you wonder even more. It's like, why?
It's
How do you just decide to keep somebody's family member's ashes?
Pretty wild.
And then, but then when the flip side to that, when you get ashes, how do you really know who you got?
True that
Excuse
too.
me. Mm-hmm.
or what you got. You
So
know?
I think that's a hell of a question though, only because we've had a little experience with
Definitely.
cremation,
Yes.
and I remember the steps that had to be taken in order to even get that facilitated. So
Right.
now all of a sudden those steps don't apply.
Right.
What are y'all trying to hide?
Right. What is you trying to hide something?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it goes deeper than that because
She said the CDC kept her ashes. That's
Right.
crazy.
Right.
Again, what are y'all trying to hide?
they're taking people's body parts and different organs is what they're doing.
Okay, I was gonna get into that. So since you're bringing that up, so that's another thing that people were talking about, having that heart on your driver's license or the donors, the donor that says you're a donor. They're saying, what about all the missing people who are coming up? Not just the kids and the sex trafficking. Let's leave that part out of it. But the missing people that come up every year, or people who die suddenly out of nowhere. Is there some? We know organs are being sold on the black market. Who runs the black market? I feel like there's always more with them. That definitely some sneaky shit. I can't say, oh, nobody would be killing people because they're donors and just taking their body part. Shit, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To me, it's as simple like when you see the films that have all these dark underground societies that are into sick, twisted shit, and we'll typically be like people. When I say we, we'll typically be like, oh, that's just the movie. That's not really happening. To me, that's equally as foolish as somebody saying that the mafia don't exist. It's just in the movies. No, this is all aspects of real life in the world we live in, the society we live in. This shit is actually taking place.
Absolutely taking place.
Yeah.
Absolutely taking place. One of the good comments, first and foremost, anybody who is watching right now, take a moment to hit the like button and jump in the comments and introduce yourself, say hello. But one of the comments that Benet has also, she said, I didn't get the job or never had a flu shot. You get a flu shot every year just to get the flu every year. And that was always my thought process about the flu shot. I always wondered about that. It's like whatever you're getting a vaccine for, quote unquote vaccine, is for, they're actually injecting you with the stuff.
So, oh, my bad. Go ahead.
It's dead.
What's dead?
The stuff they're injecting you with.
Yeah. Okay. So what my take on this is, and it's crazy because I have to admit that there was a high level of concern around the COVID vaccine, only because of the line of work that I was in at the time, but my viewpoint to the flu shot, I was always suspect of it because I was like, damn, you just think about how expensive it is to get healthcare or medicine of any kind, and they giving these motherfucking flu shots out free. By the millions.
Injecting you with shit to have you fucked up.
Every single year. So that always just had me like, that's interesting. You know what I mean? So I think the COVID vaccine is the flu shot 2.0. I think they probably did an analysis and noticed that they have the same groups of people that are coming to get this flu shot every year, and it wasn't expansive enough. So, yes. Okay, we got to create this COVID scare, and we'll get more people to line up for the jab. They're going to line up to get stuck. You know what I mean?
Which brings me to another thing. Pharmaceutical companies. Let's get it. That's where. So all fingers point back to the government. All the things that we're talking about now, I just feel like they are the ones that the more you think of every topic that we discuss in every way, it leads back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not even really the government. It's the people that run the shit. The selected few. The secret society. The names, the the families that that been running shit for hundreds of years, you know, that selective few that have all the power. That's where it came from.
And their tentacles, they reach really far, you know, into politics and the medicine and
everything.
And law, and a law that is associated with basically what we deal with on a you know, a policing type basis, criminal law that affects the same shit we was talking about before, the Food and Drug Administration. Like,
right,
your hands
how
are
could it
in
not?
every
How could
pot.
it not though? Their families are the ones who are going to the colleges, getting all these degrees. You know what I mean? They're becoming the doctors. Their kids are becoming the pharmacists, the scientists. Their kids are the ones. So of course it's them. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like they're the ones who own colleges. They're the families who own prisons. It's to their benefit.
Yeah, and it's all about control.
I'm glad I didn't take the shot.
Yeah, they got me.
Yeah,
at least the first go around.
Saying our professions, it's different. We had to get the shot.
Well, I was delivering support packages to people who were shut in with COVID, and after some time, I just was like, "Damn, okay, this is kind of risky," you know. And I was roommating with somebody that was high risk because of his health condition, and then even going to see pops, you know, like it might even be affected me, but it's on my neck, it's on my collar, you know what I mean? Like I done got this on my collar, you know, and that was kind of where I was at with it. And I was like, well, let me just go ahead and do this. And then it was all good until I got the second one, you know, because you got to go get the shot and then you got to come back. I think it's 21 days later or whatever and get the second one. When I got the second one and I slept for damn near 2 days straight, I was like, these motherfuckers done got me. Why did I call?
The cold part about it is you had already had COVID, because I know that when you came out here and visit that one time and you got
I was sick as a dog, but it was before they started calling it COVID.
It was in the
I got sick from
November before they started calling it COVID. Whatever that
absolutely.
November is when everybody actually got COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, well, me, Tavon, and Valley had got sick. Then I got sick. And then when I went to UC Davis, they did the same little test, stuck that shit up in my nose. I had to sign some shit that they were doing, testing a new thing out. And that was the same test that you had to go do was the test that they gave me before the outbreak. So.
And, you know, looking back on it, you know, it's like, okay, you get sick and you go through all this shit, but really all the elements that were at play while I was sick were an indication that my immune system was firing like it was supposed to, you know. Right. It was January and I was out making a delivery at like, it had to be like 5 a.m. It's cold. And I was sweating like it was July. You know what I mean? But if you think about that, that's your immune system. Your body is at work to flush out the shit that you got going on. You know, the fever, the throwing up, everything that was involved with it. It's like your system is working properly how it's supposed to. You know what I mean? So I guess it's safe to say that my immune system really was strong enough to survive through all of this. You know, and I there's times that I'd be like, damn, I wonder what I let these motherfuckers stick in me.
Yeah.
And I even think back to everybody wearing masks and stuff. And sure, people started getting creative and people started taking advantage and making their own mask and doing that is the best way. But what about the companies that were making the mask and the gloves when it first rolled out? Like, it's like, they made a killing. Yeah. I
was against the mask. And because to me, again, I see through the bullshit. Number one, the way my body is set up, I have to have cool air circulating through my nostrils, or I'm gonna feel like I'm about to die. So the
Me
mask
too.
just wasn't it for me. Like this don't
No, it
work.
was never cool.
But the number two thing is stuff like if you look at painters or anybody that's really exposed to something that's supposed to be harmful to the point of killing you, they don't wear paper masks. They have like ventilators and shit. So what is this paper mask really doing? Oh, that's right. Absolutely nothing. Because if you watch a
Exactly.
video that shows the infrared where it shows the actual particles that comes out of your mouth when somebody coughs or sneezes, that little paper mask ain't stopping none of that from getting up in there. Oh, well, it
No.
minimizes it. Oh, so if 0.2 million particles get in instead of 0.7, then I'm safe? No.
Right.
Right.
Or
it goes through your ears. It could go in through your ears, your eyes, any
All of
orifice
that.
that you have.
Yeah. And that's why I said the
even
mask was
gloves were
bullshit.
stupid to me. The gloves were stupid because it's like put the gloves on so you can go and grab the gas thing and put gas in your car, right? But in order to do that, you got to dig in your purse to get your card out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So now it's still the transfer of. So the gloves, I always thought the gloves were stupid. The gloves, you're going to be
Mhm.
transferring the germs all over the place, no matter what.
Mhm.
Well,
And
that's
I
why
hate
they
wearing
say-
gloves too.
That's why they were saying to wipe shit down, wash your backpacks or things that you was carrying. You got and you know the hand sanitizer is really one of the main components of keeping your hands clean. You know,
Well, but you have to wash your hands first and then use the hand sanitizer.
not the real hand sanitizer. You don't.
Why would you have to wash your hands first?
I'm saying like washing your hands is the number one thing. Washing your hands, a good hand washing. If the hand sanitizer is all that's available, of course you're going to use that. But I'm saying like washing of the hands
Because
is
the alcohol,
the best way.
if it's 70% alcohol content, it kills all the shit, most of the shit on your hands. So you don't have to
That's
wash
true.
it with soap and water.
Right.
But I don't know. The thing I always tripped off of with sanitizer and the washing of your hands is like, okay, that's a good practice, but it can be overkill. And the reason why I say that is because bacteria, it's dualistic. There's bacteria that can be harmful, and then there's also bacteria.
Good bacteria.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, if you're excessively washing your hands or excessively putting on sanitizer, you're not just killing the bad bacteria.
You're
killing
messing
the
you're
good
messing up
bacteria
your
as
body.
well.
You're messing up your hands first of all.
It's like you're leaving your system confused to say, oh, okay, what's going on? I got to produce
Right.
more of this. And
That's
after
why
so
all
long,
the
it's like, well,
germaphobes-
fuck it. I'm not going to produce none of this because all you doing is washing it off. You must
That's why
not need it.
all those germaphobe motherfuckers be the sickest motherfuckers ever.
Real talk. Real talk. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or like some of the hand sanitizers, now you can just stick the ones at my job, you can stick your hand under and the stuff just pours out. But there are some where you have to push in on the thing, right? And it's like, even if you push in on that, 50 people then came in and pushed in on that thing, you know, and that's just like, it's when you think about how many hands touch stuff, like even the buttons at the hotel, I just be like, people are, you know, all kinds of people are touching those buttons every single day.
Everything, door handles,
everything. Yeah,
I think the more you're exposed to that type of shit, the stronger your immune system.
your body, it
Right.
is.
That's why babies don't ever be sick.
So she said COVID should have helped people to get clean and improve people's hygiene. Folks was nasty before the pandemic. They still nasty as hell. And the reason why I say that, you know, over the road again, when I was driving state to state, you go in these truck stop bathrooms, and it's like, listen, bruh, that's not shit that I smell. That's ass. That's hard boiled booty. When is the last time you washed your ass?
Right.
You know,
Right.
it don't make no sense, you know. So I think people is equally nasty now as they was prior to the pandemic. Some folks just they don't believe in soap and water, you know. That's their conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Soap and water, deodorant, or toothpaste.
Yeah. That's
you
it.
need
That's
the
a whole
odorant.
combo.
Yeah.
Another thing that we already talked about on the show was UFO and aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, they decide to hold a whole press conference saying, hey, we've been holding on to an alien, and it's like, come on, we knew
Bullshit.
that.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
We knew that.
They don't have no fucking alien.
We know that there are
What are you talking
aliens.
about?
We know that there are aliens, though. That's what we do.
Where's
know.
the picture? Where is the picture of Bigfoot? Where is Bigfoot hiding at? Where is Bigfoot skeleton? Where is Bigfoot skeleton at?
Your wife is a Bigfoot, isn't she, guys?
We got partial skeletons of megalodons, dinosaurs, and everything, and we ain't got one toenail of a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Well, no, they supposedly have
aliens. Where's the evidence? We don't give a fuck.
They supposedly have a Bigfoot skeleton in in the mountains at this monastery. These monks
in Asia.
Yeah. I'm good. That's what I mean. Like, they ain't got shit. You know, they ain't got that. And I think the biggest reason why they hide.
Are you saying that you don't believe that the government has UFOs or any aliens, that they don't have them in their possession?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm talking about the Bigfoot shit.
Okay.
Because the Bigfoot is nothing more than a distraction.
Heather said in Ohio.
No, those are just mountain men. Yeah.
Exactly. Look.
No, I'm not saying that they ain't got nothing on the UFO or quote unquote alien level. I think the reason why it's so under wraps is because if that type of information was to be completely and utterly exposed, then the very thing that kind of holds the system together across the globe is going to crumble. And that's the belief in some divine being responsible for creating and forming all of this, when it's a little bit more deeper than that. So, and maybe they want that chaos to come about, but not right now.
Yeah, they'll play it when they're ready to play it.
Mm-hmm. Anybody who's been who grew up in our era and probably maybe even the 10 years before, they have been watching movies, cartoons, everything that has talked about the existence of aliens consistently their entire lives.
So they've been brainwashed, whether they realized it or not. The programming was set in over the countless shows that were seen in front of their vision.
Well, what it is it's like it's we're going to tell you the truth, but we're going to present it to you in a way that makes it seem like it's really just fiction or entertainment. It's truth in plain sight. When you talk about these secret societies, that's how they operate. It's not that they're keeping things secret. They present you with the truth, but they do it in a way that you don't even recognize it as that.
Well, here's the thing with the aliens. Everything is so far from us that you would have to use light travel to get to make these trips that they're saying that these ships are making. And light travel requires an infinite. It's possible, but it requires an infinite amount of energy, because the speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. That's why when you hit the light switch, it appears that the light turns on instantly. So you'd have to travel from one planet to Earth in the same amount of time that you hit the motherfucking light switch.
Right.
Let me say something to y'all.
That's not possible.
But that's if we're talking about conventional travel.
Okay, so wormholes, yeah, and shit like that, I would agree with that. That's why I said, but the actual ships, we just did. No, you didn't travel 47.
No, for real though, I feel him on that.
You didn't just travel 4,700 years worth of fucking miles in 1 second, nigga. That's what you did.
Because here's the thing: there is not a body or human-like structure, even if it's not from this planet. There's not one in existence that would survive that level of G-force. It's not possible. It's gonna make soup out of you.
Right. When you get there, you ain't gonna know which arms is which legs is which.
But
Look,
see,
and
that's
here's the point.
that's what they're wanting us to
do a
believe.
drive-by. You did all that to be like, yeah, that's them. They're still there.
Yeah. Travel 4,700 years worth of traveling just to come swing through and bounce back out.
Mhm.
That's what they want us to believe, okay? Just
Right.
like they did that little we're gonna go into space shit with Captain Kirk and William Shatner and all the motherfuckers that took the shit to space. And they went up there and they came back down. That's bullshit.
They were using warp drive. Who gives a fuck about our imaginations? In order for the shit to be possible, they have to be traveling extremely motherfucking fast. And that's the part that I'm not buying.
Yeah, because I don't think, because how do you even test the material that you're using to create these ships to know that it will withstand that level of speed? You can't. I don't think that's it. I think the way that it was probably
and how is the motor
with Star Trek was the beam me up, Scotty.
And
that is how travel was taking place.
Right, exactly.
But we don't know what they're really doing. I seen in Utah.
Go try to drive a car 200,000 miles without stopping and watch what happened to that motherfucker.
We're not saying that this stuff isn't taking place on a secret level, Saab. We're not saying that. It's a slight.
But they said Star Trek is real, and she don't care what y'all say.
Hey, look, hey, listen. So, for those that don't know, we were forced. I was forced into this way of life.
They made me. Look at it.
Because Star Trek religiously, okay? So we ain't had no choice but to understand or see what was going on Star Trek.
Right. We fuck with Star Trek. We ain't gonna lie. We fuck with Star Trek.
We probably have more knowledge on that than the average motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Niggas was Trekkies without a choice, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, I made Heather watch all the Star Treks.
Mm-hmm. If we don't get off this planet, we'll die here.
Sticking to our topic, though.
Hey, look, that's part of it. Okay.
That's definitely part of it, though. No, because we're covering all the things.
So look, here's the point. So, Planet X, which is actually Nibiru, I guess it travels in an oblong axis around us.
It has like an oval like orbit versus a circular one like the other planets.
Right. So it only comes into proximity of us every 13,500 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a possibility that there could be something on Nibiru, because that would be something that's actually in our solar system and actually be able to make these jumps to our realm. You know what I'm saying?
It could be something like that, you know.
As far as the bodies of a space, I don't believe it. I want to touch the body with my motherfucking hand.
You know, I be feeling like there's symbolism and shit that points to some of the stuff you're talking about. So, Planet X, number one, and the orbit and the amount of time that that takes place in between the orbits. So roughly 13,000 years. Okay. Then we look at the zodiac and how the 12 signs of the zodiac are linked to the orbit of the sun. You understand what I'm saying? And then we look at how the 12 apostles are linked to Jesus. And what is Jesus? The Son, spelled differently. But do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like there's symbolism that's like, hey, you have to decode it. We gave you the mathematics, but you got to break out your decoder pen.
Okay, and that goes.
I think that's true.
That goes to what I wanted to touch on with the Jay-Z shit and him putting up the symbols when he's on camera and shit. A part of that Illuminati shit. Back to that secret society. It's only what they want us to know.
Okay.
In people who have been abducted, supposedly, when they say they come back or whatever, it's been time that's been that hasn't lapsed.
But how could so little bit of people control so much people? Because
I think it's possible.
The secret society would have to be very small, period.
But here's the thing, though.
I don't think it's small.
I think this is the point that is drastically confused among people when we speak of secret societies such as Freemasons and, you know, what do they call it? The female version, Eastern Stars, Rosicrucian Order. That's not the Illuminati.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Jay-Z ain't nobody's Illuminati. Is he a Freemason? Clearly. You know, he's done enough and wore enough things and presented his hands in ways. Clearly, he's a Freemason. And there's a very high likelihood that Beyonce is an Eastern Star, but that is not the Illuminati. It's simply a fraternity that is related to a secret order of information. That does not make that person Illuminati. You know, they're not one and the same.
Because Illuminati would have to be, in my understanding, the Illuminati is linked to aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, break that down.
It all coincides. Just like with the shit that Tom Cruise is in,
that's Scientology.
Yeah, the Scientology. That's a part of some of that too. It's a status, your status, basically.
Well, look at it like this. Look at it like this. I think in the era we live in now, people be like, "Oh shit, them niggas is Masons and Freemason, Illuminati." Well, go back to Rosewood. Go back to Black Wall Street. Go back to any of the thriving, flourishing communities that existed in modern American history, and them Black people there were Freemasons and Eastern Stars. Right. Period.
I think that them trying to tie the Illuminati into Freemasons is where the problem is, because I think they're two different things. I think and then the Illuminati, in my mind, I could be wrong. In my mind, the Illuminati is more so the 12 families, 15 families who who decided to let their families be the only ones that get rich. That's what I think of when I think of the Illuminati. I think of that's a secret society, but I don't intertwine that with being a Freemason or Eastern Star.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. I just want to drop that in there right quick. Shout out to everybody.
I see you guys. Everybody's
going in. Illuminati, because I have these.
And someone might watch and say, because you have those back there, that could be a sign that you are dropping some sort of code.
I mean, I got the whole little, shit you find on the dollar bill on my motherfucking arm right here. Does that mean I'm Illuminati, or does it mean that, I felt like that the signs and the symbols was relative, and I needed a daily reminder that this shit deeper than it looked? Who knows? But like Benet said, it's not secret. It's in plain sight. You just have to learn the symbols. So the existence of these organizations has never been secret. It's the knowledge, the information, and how to make application of it that's secret, as it should be. It should be protected. If it's because knowledge is power. It can be used like a weapon if it falls into the wrong hands.
Break it down, baby. How is Tom Hanks Illuminati?
She said you're Illuminati.
But I was watching this show on Channel 6 yesterday, and they were talking with these two people about how they are trying to get in Africa, they're trying to make it to where people have power in these third world countries, so that they're able to cook and have utilities and stuff like that. No, they're trying to make sure that they get a tap of what's in that ground in Africa, where those third world country people, that's where all the good gems are still left.
It's called the means of production. is what you're referring to when you say in the ground. To be more educated, not to give you a lesson, but it's called the means of production, and that's because those metals and those everything being so rich and plentiful over there, it gives us the material to do the shit we do over here.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's the means of production like that.
Yeah.
And that's why they're stealing it and they devalue everybody's dollar. Okay, you got 900 motherfucking billion pounds of steel, but
Right.
but since our dollar is so superior, we're gonna buy 840,000 million pounds of the steel for you know what I'm saying?
Ripping them off is what they were doing.
Ripping them off.
Which is part of the reason why the stuff happening with the BRICS countries is a big deal. It's like you can't come over here with that shitty ass dollar no more.
No more.
Fuck your stupid
Well,
ass.
the British rule is the Britons themselves are like, who the fuck are they? Why do they get all this money?
I am Illuminati.
He hella late.
I can't.
All through your body. With the blows like a 12 gauge shotty.
If you think about it though, between diamonds and I was about to say vibranium, which is from Black Panther.
It's carbon in the ground. It's carbon and cobalt. Carbon and cobalt that they could get it from just digging in the ground, okay? And damn.
Or
you like the one dude that they got the meme going, the nigga that froze.
Mitch McConnell. Did you go Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, I just did a Mitch.
my name is
Oh
shit. So look, Illuminati or alchemists. Illuminati or alchemists. Okay, and it goes on to say the Masons and all the other type of fraternities are the beginning stages of understanding the order. You just have to study. So alchemy, it has been said that is something that if perfected by the person who's trying to go through the process of it, that you could take a piece of a true alchemist could take a piece of lead and turn it into a piece of gold. So when we think about what we're talking about, the natural resources and them being plentiful, and then you put that side by side with alchemy. And if you go back in history, you'll see that during a certain era of time, there were people in these different areas of England. I mean, not England, but Europe, that were spending their entire lives studying alchemy. You understand what I'm saying? So what was this about? What were they trying to accomplish? And was it because they understood that they could take what is viewed as a worthless resource and turn it into something that holds real value if they were able to master the process of alchemy? You see what I mean? People wasn't just doing shit because it was fun and they was bored. There had to be an extreme purpose behind that.
Okay, you know? And see, that's where it all boils down to. These new battery-oriented cars, all these cars that they're trying to get to run off these batteries. Okay, these batteries are built up of things that they got to be able to put together to make the battery, and that's the whole purpose of them going and trying to get those minerals in those third world countries, because they've used it up in the places where they've been getting it from. They got to get some new. They got to get some because they depleted everything.
Yeah, I would think that that might be something to look into. It's a huge possibility.
And if we were able to come up with something that will power everything that's not used with fossil fuels, we will become billionaires. Okay. Because everything has been relied on fossil fuels to they started with coal. We were using coal and all that other kind of stuff. and then it's contaminating the ozone layer. You know, so this is why we got
the electric vehicles and such, the green initiative and all that other shit.
Yes, and then it's messing up Earth. Okay, so they've got to try and find something that they can use to stop using this, so that we don't have to worry about global warming, because the global warming is what's jacking us up. This is why.
So what if that was always the goal? What if this ozone layer that they speak of is the firmament that's spoken about in the Bible? What if Bill Nye was telling the truth when he said that the earth is a closed system and you cannot leave? What if the thing about the conspiracy theory about them shooting a rocket at the moon, and that, you know, it hit this figured what is so-called glass ceiling? What if we really can't leave this system, and that it's always been a goal to try to burn through that firmament that they're recalling the ozone layer, so that outer space, as it were, is actually accessible to human beings? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
right? No, that's true.
You got to consider all possibilities, because we don't really
know.
We don't know what they're up to.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
You know, so because we don't know what
they're burning
up to.
it. They're burning it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's why, you know, we got these messed up weather and flooding and tornadoes and hurricanes in places that don't even have places like that.
I'm glad that this got put on the screen, because I seen something about this just the other day. But again, like I said, I wasn't all the way back in podcast mode, so I didn't grab it as one of the current affairs, even though I had seen it prior, a couple years ago, I think. But this dude that was able to produce drinking water out of the elements that are in the air, you know, he figured out some scientific process to go through to where you could produce water in a place where they're saying that the water is contaminated or whatever. And it's like, come on, man. We got to go buy a bottle of water. You know, we got to pay to have water come out our sink. You know what I'm saying?
Fresh water drops from the sky.
Yeah.
But what you guys don't realize is that when they put trash in one of those trash heaps, like if you from Sacramento, you know that on the freeway right there by Cal Expo used to be the dump, and that's where they used to dump all the trash. Okay.
Right.
Then when they filled that landfill, then they covered it with different layers, 5 different layers of different shit, put pipes through it and all kinds of stuff, because that now makes gases and water. All that combination makes a gas and water. And so that's how they're able to have that community on the other side of the freeway. And that's why they're also working on that part of the freeway, because that area that used to be a landfill, dollar to dozen, will have houses on top of it maybe 10 years from now.
And they all gonna have three extra fingers, 6 fingers, and tails and shit like that.
Right. There's gonna be a Camp Lejeune commercial, and then that one's gonna follow it. If you lived in over in this area during this time, which, you know, more lies within. That's the bottom line. And the whole thing about the conspiracy theories, is it really should they be called conspiracy theories? Should we turn our head to these kind of truths? Is what
it's fair to call it a theory until you have concrete proof behind it. But the thing about it is the term is used to write people off as whack jobs and nuts.
Well, actually, I think we're misusing the word. It's actually a hypothesis, because a hypothesis is a theory that is yet to be proven. So without the actual proof, it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis.
And that's for the black man that can transform to make the drinking water, or who had made the gas plastic. They ain't going to promote that, because that's going to take dollars away from these companies that run off of
fossil fuels. Here we go.
Here we go.
We are on YouTube. You can't use those words.
What did I say?
Oh my! And then you don't even know.
Okay, so to read this, and I read this to you guys, but just to share it with the viewers, conspiracy theory is a noun and a belief that some secret but influential organization is responsible for an event or phenomena. That's the definition.
I think the only part of that definition I would disagree with is the secret part, because the CIA and the FBI and the NSA ain't none of them secret organizations, but they've been responsible for a lot of shit that we seen.
They definitely are responsible.
You know, so
they're not
outside of that, I think it's on point.
I don't think
CIA, any of that CIA stuff is not conspiracy theories, because it's actually was documented extensively in the times that it was taking place. And you know, the lid was blown off the shit, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, just a lot of stuff. Like I said before, the Kennedy assassination. We know it was all kind of conspiracy theories surrounding that. And then when all the information was released decades later, it's like, damn, okay, so this is actually exactly what happened. You know what I mean? With the Martin Luther King assassination, you know, it was conspiracy theory. All these years later, it's exactly what happened. You know, and the recent news with, in the recent news with Malcolm X, where they had these people arrested that were supposedly a part of his organization that killed him, and it has been recently uncovered that no, those are false arrests and convictions that were made in order to cover the tracks of the real people who did these, who basically were behind the murder, which was CIA operatives that were there undercover. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, but it was a conspiracy theory when it happened, but over time, it was absolute fact.
Well, yeah, they actually blew that nigga's head off.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, and as far as the Kennedys go, they would say, "Oh, the Kennedy curse, the Kennedy curse." You know, they would. But when you look at the number of family members that died, plane crashes, ski trips, all kinds of weird shit. They kept knocking them off. That lets me know
the son supposedly flew the plane upside down. His instruments, because in the dark in a plane, the sky and when you're up high, the sky is on both sides of you. Right. So basically, somehow his instrumentation turned him upside down, and he flew straight into the motherfucking ground, basically.
That's bullshit.
And the other one was skiing. You know, we can expect that these rich white folks have been skiing their whole damn life since they was knee high to a grasshopper. They had a pair of skis every winter. But now you want me? But it could be possible. You can.
Christopher Reeves, Sonny Boy, the skis and hitting some trees.
Hey, and they lobotomized the daughter.
Man, who was they mad at though? What was revealed? You know,
something was going on. We got to know
was that. Was it really the John F. Kennedy speech that prompted it, or was his speech prompted by his knowledge of what they already had planned? You know what I mean? What came first?
Right.
You see what I mean? Yeah. Because I don't know if y'all are aware of the speech that I'm talking about, the speech that John F. Kennedy gave, where he basically called out the secret societies and the members of those societies that had places in politics or governmental position throughout the country, and that they were manipulating things in order to have their own, how can I say it, to have their own effect on the world that we live in. And he gave a speech about that shortly before they popped his top. You know what I mean? So
I mean, anytime that you can pop someone's top while they're driving down the street with their family member, with their wife and children in the car, being televised on TV way back then. And then Life magazine had a fold out And they actually showed shot like bop, bop, bop. And it's like, really? That they wanted it to be known. That's how we doing this shit. We're gonna kill you in front of your wife, in front of everybody. Like that, I just don't feel like nobody, if it wasn't the government, then how would they have gotten away with that?
But hear me out on this though. I think that as Americans, we have somewhat of a spoiled viewpoint. We say, oh, in front of the kids and the wife. You go on down to some of these places in Mexico. That's ordinary. These people, that happens all the time. You go to these other war-torn countries, and it happens all the time.
With you.
Yeah. So, like, we look at that, it's like, oh my God, that's horrendous.
Wiping out bloodlines.
Yeah, that's part of, you know, the human existence. And I say this all the time, like, conflict ain't never going away. And the thought that there's going to be peace and blessings on earth one day, that shit is a dream. It ain't never coming. Conflict and human existence go hand in hand, period. It's always going to be there.
Somebody's always going to have a problem with what somebody else got going on.
That's true. That's
always.
True.
Yeah. Shutting on.
Push mute. Mute her.
I mean, technically, we can go over here and turn the camera off.
No, that ain't what I was talking about. I was on something else. Yeah.
She said again, they cloned Tyrone.
Yeah, and I think until everybody has seen it, it wouldn't be fair to talk about it. But you know,
we can talk about it. I've heard bits and pieces and seen bits and
you
pieces.
Gotta watch it though. That's what I'm saying. Like to really, it's deep. It's deep. You know, and yeah, you gotta watch it. You know.
I'm putting that on my. I can probably watch it tonight.
Or put any viewpoints in your mind before you.
It didn't already exist. Okay.
Exactly. You know. Yeah. Yeah. But it's definitely a dope flick.
Crazy.
And they did a good job, I think, of balancing out the seriousness with a little bit of, you know, comic relief. So it was like, okay, we're gonna throw some heavy shit on you, but it's not going to be so heavy that you feel like you're in science class, though. You know,
that's good.
You go.
I want to know who the person who produced it, what their nationality was.
I think it's that one lady
who came up with the idea. Who
the lady that came out with Girls Trip? What's her name? You females know this, but I'm sure her. I'm wanting to say she was involved with that.
Okay.
You looking that up?
Tyrone is a 2023 American science fiction comedy mastery film directed by Jewel Taylor in its feature film and directorial debut from a screenplay he wrote with Tony Redemeyer. This is what it says here. I don't know. Let me look at this other one. Yeah, it's saying the same people.
Okay, so
and it's crazy how they try to downplay it. It says that this film is a throwback to blaxploitation films like Three the Hard Way, with a touch of sci-fi and paranoid conspiracy thrillers that proliferated in the 1970s. And it could very easily be looked at that way if you just sat down and had something to smoke and drink and just wanted to watch the movie. But if you got your thinking cap on, it's like we talked about earlier. It's a lot of truth in plain sight going on in that movie.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said earlier, and that's why I used the example. The food alone is it's like when they were in the restaurant eating the chicken and everybody was laughing.
And he said, so would that be that they thought that they were putting marijuana in the food?
No.
That's mind-altering effects of what's going on in the food.
And then it was something in the something going on in the church too. They was they had some kind of mind-altering shit going on in the church as well.
In the communion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and see that those are both
It was in the wine. That's right. It was in the.
Yeah.
So to not, because again, mine ain't seen it. So to not go too deep into it, I think those are two good things that you can keep your eye out for when you do sit down and watch it, though.
Watch it though, sis. This shit is funny.
I'm gonna watch it. I should have watched it before the show today.
So I think somebody just mentioned the food again a minute ago. Maybe it was about with the chicken in the movie, but I think I seen a post on Instagram the other day where a dude was talking about McDonald's and how it says that they have billions and billions served. Okay. And he was like, okay, so we know McDonald's is putting out all this food. Where are they really getting the animals in order to mass produce this much so-called chicken or beef on a daily basis? So
green.
So you take that.
Native people.
So you take that, and then you go right back to what they've been putting out. I forget what they call it, where they're basically 3D printing this meat.
Right.
Genetically modified.
So again, hang on, let me finish my thought. So again, we know just like Star 69 and all type of shit that by the time it is available to the public, it has been in play behind the curtain for at least 2 decades.
True.
So was niggas ever eating meat when they was eating McDonald's? Did they curl ever really?
Has anybody seen the movie Soylent Green?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. Basically, McDonald's, I'm gonna say, I don't give a damn. McDonald's is human meat. I call McDonald's human work because it's McDonald's.
So one of the things he highlighted in his post was about how, like, and y'all might remember this, it was years ago. It was a post floating around on YouTube where somebody had bought fast food from each of the popular fast food chains, and they just let it sit out to see what the decomposition rate would be on it. And that all of them, looked close to regular after some time. And then some of them started to actually develop mold and this, that, and the other. So, but the only thing that happens to the McDonald's food is that it loses its moisture and it begins to look dehydrated. But the fries, the buns, the meat, it does not decay.
Right.
What in the hell is that?
Right. They said you could leave the fry could be under the seat for 2 years, and you pull the fry out, and it's still a fry.
No, that is true. That's definitely true.
You could, after 2 years, that fry is a weapon. You could jab a motherfucker's eye out with that joint. It's petrified.
But why wouldn't it mold though?
Because it ain't food.
Right.
Genetically modified.
That's crazy.
Even so I thought about this the other day, because again, like I ain't been eating no meat, right? So I had some French fries from the grocery store, and I cooked them in the air fryer. And when I came home, so I've been doing the little fasting or whatever, the intermittent fasting. So on that particular day, I didn't eat until I got home from work. All I had was water and an energy drink, but I hadn't had nothing, no food. So I come home and I make these fries, you know what I mean? Put a little bit of avocado on there and some hot sauce, whatever. So it's the only thing I've consumed this entire day. And the next day, my body was like, nigga, don't put none of that shit up in here. So it's supposed to be just frozen potatoes, right? Negative. I don't know what the hell that was. It looked and smelled like potatoes, but it wasn't. Because why would that cause a stomach? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
well, when your body's not used to eating something for a long time, when you eat it, it does something, and I think you've been staying away from the negative stuff for a while. Your body probably didn't respond to that because you had made it.
It was like, that's not real, homie. Go get you some potatoes and cut them up. And hell, matter of fact, figure out a way to grow you some.
Well, and that's what I was
well,
gonna.
if you
That's what I was
think
gonna
about
get
it, though,
into too.
if you think about it, though, if you do cut up some potatoes, and freeze them up, they're not gonna look like that potato that is you go and get from the store.
Absolutely not. You're right.
They're totally two different type of things. The potato's still gonna have its consistency. It's gonna have all that. You go get one of those frozen potatoes and you break it open, it's like paper in the inside.
Right.
Well, they pre-cook it to a certain extent as well, though.
Preservatives.
Yeah. Well, we know that for sure.
The human body don't like preservatives.
No. And then they pre-cook it to a certain extent as well. That's why it doesn't freeze. It freezes at different temperatures once they pre-cook it.
Yeah.
That's why we have all these new elements that all these people have, all these new elements, all these different shit that our grandparents didn't have, and all that, because they're doing shit to everything. They,
well, I think Bené's comment falls, kind of in line with what you're saying. It said, read your labels and understand the meaning of a label. So that
if you can't pronounce that shit, it's bad.
Right. Well, the thing about it that I was impressed when she said, because I could read a label, but understanding the meaning of the label and what's on, that's where the importance
unpronounceable shit.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't even just that. I mean, 'cause you can always Google it, but then when you Google the definition of that word, like, does it help you to understand? And sometimes the answer is no, because it's like, I still don't understand the shit that's in the definition. What is?
Because you're not a chemist.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is.
Right.
Something that we know that has been in shit since we've been growing up. I don't even know how to say
it.
Riboflavin, however you say it.
Right.
I don't know what that is, but it's in a lot of food elements.
All right, but look, that goes back to what you were saying when you very first started the conversation. It's because of the amounts of people that have to consume it. That's why these chemicals are involved in the production of the food, because there may be a little bit of chicken in a chicken nugget, but 98% of the chicken McNugget is all this other shit.
Yeah.
And also, we have to take into account that they're probably cloning the food as well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And so that's why we got all these people walking around like zombies.
It's not the food, the drugs.
What?
It's not the food, it's the drugs.
It's both. It's a combination of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a combination of both.
This motherfucker last night, my God. He didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, but he had on a dress and white makeup with tennis shoes on and a purse and walking down the street.
Kill that son of a bitch.
Crazy. I was trying to find some information about but it would have to be done ahead of time.
I was trying
to find some information about.
If you Google McDonald's, it hints that it has human in it.
Yeah, I mean, but the reason why I don't think that is because human flesh, just like animal flesh, would decay when left out to the elements.
Well, it's just like I said. It's almost like if you took, for instance, how you take an egg and put it in vinegar or whatever, and then it makes it hard boiled or whatever, and all that. It's the amounts that they're using to offset. If it's mostly this, yeah, it has the other shit in there, but they call it preservatives for a reason, though.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Salt is a natural preservative. That's why you know, man, human flesh with plastic is plastic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Corn syrup. They got so many human flesh with plastic is plastic. Okay. So I was trying to figure out how to bring this in, and I think that pretty much does it. So on my way to work and back every day, I pass the rendering plant that they have out there in Rancho. And so it's basically where dead farm animals or animals from the pound, whatever. There's been times where I'm riding behind a truck that has the open top dump trailer on it, and there's dead cows. You know, their legs is like
Damn.
going down the road. You anyway, on their way to the rendering plant. So it's like, damn, it's rigor mortis hanging all out the top of them. But anyway, I say all that to say that they take these animals to these rendering plants, and they break down the remains, and they use some of it to make stuff like plastic,
Dog
glue,
food.
dog food, beef tallow, which is a part of the makeup of the cream filling in a Twinkie. Okay, all kind of shit. So I mean, like, as long as we eating the food that's being produced, that's why I said what I said earlier about trying to figure out a way to have enough space to grow your own.
That's the most important thing. And I'm glad you worked your way back to that. I'm glad
we
you
have
worked.
to understand that that's not a world issue. That's an American issue.
Oh, I do. I know that. Yeah.
That's not just all over the world. This is what they do to their people.
Hell
That's
no,
what
that's
these
out
motherfuckers here do.
Yeah.
No, but I was saying, I'm glad that you had moved back to that, you know, the goal being to have enough space where you can grow stuff. It kind of taps on what Tusov was saying about the issues that weren't around when our ancestors were actually living. They were living in small houses and all under one roof, and they were poor and eating the slop that was given to them, but they were eating stuff that was freshly grown. They were taking stuff that was being grown, and it was being cared for, manicured directly. So now that's the only way we're ever going to know truly what it is that we're getting. You should be able to have a garden, you know what I mean, where you can grow vegetables, where you can grow different things, because that's what's going to save us in the end. Is making
been doing that for years, though.
That's what I'm saying.
It was almost non-existent in that time frame you're talking about too.
What was
obesity? It was
right.
Almost non-existent. So that right there tells you something.
Yeah,
there's a lot of foods other countries won't use, or it's illegal, that we still use. Absolutely, you know.
This right here is the comment right here. This is fact. Cereal and a bunch of shit that we eat over here is outlawed in other countries.
Yeah, Mountain Dew.
Cheeses are outlawed in other countries. Yeah.
I love Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its is genetically modified food. Cheez-Its cause cancer. Guaranteed.
Lord.
Damn near everything that we consume.
I love Cheez-Its.
So go and get a pack of Chips Ahoy cookies and just bite into the cookie, right? And tell me it's the same Chips Ahoys that we ate when we was kids.
No, they're not.
No,
that's why I won't touch a Chips
The
Ahoy.
texture of it on your teeth, it's like, what in the plastic crumpled shit is this? This ain't no damn Chips Ahoy cookie. Everything has been modified, or like Woon said earlier, manipulated in some way or another. It's not what it once was.
It's to feed the masses. It's to accommodate the masses while they're breaking this food down that way.
Right. Well, Lawan said FDA equals food is a drug. FDA.
I like to play on words. Yeah. Yeah. And it can it can be looked at like that, because let's face it, eating is a necessary part of survival. So if we take into account the shit that it talks about in that documentary that I mentioned, the American parasite, where the food companies deliberately started to work refined sugar into all different types of food. It don't matter if you go get some lunch meats and sausage or whatever. Yeah, because they know it's addictive, and
exactly,
and that they can use it as a flavor enhancer, such as like if you make some spaghetti sauce and you flavor, you get all the flavor in it, and a little pinch of sugar helps to, and because it creates a contrast. So they learned all that, and they said, well, damn, this sugar is more addictive than cocaine. But then you see, sure, you're able to sell more of your food products and all that, but you see the effects that it has had on people and their health and their weight gain, all that type shit.
It's corrosive. It kills it kills every organ in the human body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I gotta quit eating sugar. Oh God.
Now, thanks to Javon, I'm not gonna go buy no Cheez-Its now. Now I'm just like, Cheez-Its? I never really gave it thought. But these are a whole bunch of things that, and see, I don't really have to worry about the Twinkie feeling and all that, because I've been over Twinkies. I don't eat Twinkies, is not my thing. Like, that's not something I would eat. But a Cheez-It I would, and you really just have to look at your whole diet in a overall, like what are the things, and I think I will start paying a little bit more attention to the actual labels, like she said, and trying to figure it all out, as you know, because I know that's where some of the weight comes from. I know that's where the blowing up of it comes from. It's the types of food, because I'm not over here eating a whole bunch of shit all the time 24/7. That ain't it. It's what I'm eating this blowing me up.
Exactly. And it just, the light switch came on already before, but it really has come on. I am a sugar addict, and I mean, I am a sugar addict. I love sugar, and I gotta cut it out.
When you gonna jump into one of these podcasts,
it lights up the same parts of the brain as cocaine.
Yeah, so, that's what I was saying when I said it releases endorphins.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But see, cocaine, it releases endorphins at such an accelerated rate that they don't reproduce at the same rate to replenish. So
over time, it eliminates the ability.
Right, because of the way that it hits the neural system, it has something to do with that. So your body
it dampens the dopamine receptors' ability to.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to put it into words, but that's basically what it is.
Definitely, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you just got to think that people, who are in control of the food system, and we can't say it's about money, because we know that the money isn't backed by natural resources anyway, that it's printed out of thin air. Like what's the real purpose behind it? It ain't so you could be rich.
Right. Well, first of all, before I say my next thing, shout out to everybody in the chat. We see you. I see everybody out there. Tremaine, I see you. What's up? Kai, see you on here too. Pay attention to the labels and on fresh fruit and even vegetables. But that's the whole bottom line, is to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And like you said, what is the initial goal? What are they trying to achieve with all of this? Is it that they're trying to do population control?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I think anyway. I will say it's an absolute fact, but that's the conclusion that I draw.
It's population control and mind control. Don't forget the mind control also, because that's main. Like I had said before, this is a hypothesis, but any person who has ever touched a cell phone, when they want us to stand at alert, when they're ready for us to stand at alert, we will. And that means kids and everybody, because they're sending something into our brain waves every time we pick up a phone. Okay. That's why the
back of this right here, it has a cancer warning.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So all the machinery and stuff that we use, phones, TVs, all that shit, emits microwave emissions, and it is cancer causing to humans.
Well, and so I was just hearing, it's funny that you said that, Jabbar, because I just was hearing how cell phones, you really shouldn't be on your cell phone for a lengthy period of time, that you should talk on speakerphone instead of having it up to your head for if you're talking all the time on the phone. And as far as ear pods and all these different things that you're putting into your ear for lengthy periods of time, that's something to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say this: when cell phones first started coming, cell phones first started coming out, and they were smaller and whatnot. I used to keep when I would be working, and
they say don't put it against your skin too. That's
I would always put it on my up in my bra
because it causes testicular cancer.
That's what I was hearing. I heard all that.
I would put it in my bra because that was like the closest thing to me. That same side that I always used to stick the phone in is the same side that I was having the problems when I went and got my mammogram. It changed something, and so that's why they were able that they were seeing the mammogram wasn't coming. It's man, everything that we touch, everything that we use is jacking us up, and that's
so.
just it.
So hold on. I want you to go back to that other one that was up there because I don't want to skip over that because I feel like it's very relevant to what we were talking about with the food. Why is Bill Gates the biggest owner of farm land? And that's not some gibberish that is being put out on the internet.
Right.
This motherfucker is thoroughly invested in farmland that is related to food production. And we that's something that's worthy of further investigation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he's one of the biggest contributors of trying to help people who don't have food. He donates to a lot of places like that.
Well, it's like you seen on Jurassic Park, the last Jurassic Park, when the people owned all the farmland, and then they genetically modified those locusts to go eat up the last of their competitors' farms. And that's probably what kind of page Bill Gates is on. He's buying up so much land that his production, it costs and it's kind of like Walmart, how Walmart knocked off all the smaller competitors. You get what I'm saying?
Somebody was I was talking to somebody the other day, just to throw this out there along with it, but Jimco and Price Club places
Jimco
they don't exist no more because of places like Target and Walmart.
Yeah. Right. Well, Walmart is a monopoly. We already know.
Well, Target directly replaced Jimco. Target is if I'm not mistaken, if you look in the merge and acquisitions phase of Target, somewhere along there they probably ate Jimco.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Zodi's and Whole Circle and all that shit.
At the Zodi's on Whittier. It's a new Econoline van with 20 keys of coke inside.
To piggyback on what Joseph Hill has said, though, why Bill Gates the biggest owner of farmland, it's because then he can control what is produced, and that's the thing. That's why he wants to control what is produced. So the more land that he has, the more he's controlling what is produced and how.
I get that.
He's one of the millions.
I guarantee you, he's not eating none of the food that's being produced off of his own.
He's not. Oh, he's not. It's not.
So there's a sinister motive behind it.
Absolutely is.
Yeah. He's one of the aliens.
All right, I gotta Google it now. I can't let that slide.
He also had a comment down here that says frequencies can alchemize molecules.
Yeah, that's something that's worthy of further investigation, because even though I think I understand what he's saying, I'm not even gonna try to break that down.
Frequencies meaning like her phone in the boob is what is piggybacking on that part of it.
That's what I would think. You know what I mean? Because we covered a lot, but it seems like that's kind of what he was talking about. Yeah. Let's see here. But at the same time,
Okay,
The reason why
listen.
these things. Hold on, I'm reading the comment. But at the same time, the reason why these things can take over is because we continue to buy and eat the BS.
Right.
Absolutely agree. We have the power to stop it all.
Yeah, we do. Right.
Okay, go ahead, Dees.
Bill Gates owns McDonald's Potatoes Farms.
Mm,
Wow.
punk motherfucker.
They own the soil where the potatoes in McDonald's French fries grow, the carrots from the world's largest producer, and the onions that. Hold on, this shit. That's why I said I had to Google that because
That's crazy.
there ain't no way he owned all that farmland and it ain't something we seeing on a daily basis.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
definitely some shit
Yeah.
we've seen on a daily basis. And now when you connect that to McDonald's and the billions of people served, boy, it really all lines up at that point.
Carrots,
Mhm.
onions, all of foods that come from Bill Gates' farmland.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
it goes back
basically,
to-
then you can't even really trust the seeds if you're trying to go buy some seeds to grow your own garden. What you got to do is you got to go to another country and buy the seeds and keister it and then bring it back.
Right. Well, and you know what? One of the things I was noticing too is that the
Carrot or onion.
international stores, if you look at the international stores, they sell a lot more of the fruit and the kind of stuff that is healthier for us than the
Mhm.
actual store does. And then we
Mhm.
have to pay attention to that too, because sometimes we all don't want to go in them stores, they stink and they got this. No, their food is actually better, and the fruit that they have in their stuff is they give you stuff that's good for your system. Like if you're ever trying to find what is you know, the one we were just talking about, Tavon, that is sweet, and then the other one is not the red one or the yellow dragon fruit. Like dragon fruit, you can't just find dragon fruit everywhere.
It's not in the
you
grocery
can't.
store.
You can't.
You got to go to an international market.
And those
No,
are things
sometimes
that-
it'll be in the grocery store, but it's not
United States.
easily accessible though. You got to look
Right.
for that.
right.
That's because it's not indigenous to the United States.
Well, a lot of stuff isn't, and they still have it in the store, but they don't want you to have things that are actually good for your body. Is the thing.
Absolutely not.
So Bill Gates is the world's largest producer of onions and carrots.
This is why I was saying about the seeds. You got to figure out where you even gonna get the seeds, because if he's producing that, there has to be some seeds involved with that. So you can't just go and get the seeds from anywhere. You know what I mean? So bro, right here, Joshua Hill, I think he's still doing it. I know we had talked about it previously about being able to grow your own food. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, if you still got your hand in that. So anyway, that's why I wanted to put this up here about those heirloom seeds. I'm assuming that's a particular brand of seeds that you can get. If you can kind of just fill us in on that, because obviously in order to stop buying and eating the BS, we got to figure out a way to bring it about on our own.
Well, you know, just like Monstrano, I'm not maybe saying it right, but they're the manufacturer of the feed that they make these farms use, this corn feed that they make all these farmers use, and if they don't use it, then they take them out of the existence, you know. And then once it has been grown, then they come back and take the seeds until it's ready again to reharvest and lay the seeds down. They're the men in black of the farm community.
Okay.
And basically, Bill Gates is going right along in on that, because it's all a part of trying to control everything that people are doing. Just like
are you saying, Tavon, that if you go to the store and you get a fruit and it has seed in it, you can't trust that seed to grow?
No. I'm saying, like, you don't know the history of what that that piece of fruit has gone through. And
Right. Right.
so whatever additives are in the soil, whatever pesticides it's sprayed with, all of that has had an effect on those particular seeds. So I'm not saying you can't trust it, but you just don't know the history on it. So I guess that means the same shit. You don't know. You know what I mean? You don't
Right.
know exactly
So what,
what
if y'all remember growing up, you could pass people's houses. They had orange trees, they had plum trees, they had lemon trees, they had all kinds of trees everywhere that you could pick trees on your way home from school. You could pick some shit from off of a tree and eat it, right? If
I
you
remember
notice
that's
now,
why I fell in love with plums. You remember? I don't remember who it
oh,
was. The
my
people
Aunt
like me that
Helen
was
had the
down at
best
the plum
plums,
tree.
man. My Aunt Helen had the best plums too. But this is the thing. Now you don't see that going down the street because you, like you said, you can't buy where. How come that is? Like if I wanted to go plant me a whole bunch of trees, can I buy that kind of stuff? Is that they're making it to where it's not easily accessible? Is that what it
No,
is, or
I
what?
think you can. I think it's a lost craft. And what I mean by that is we remember, seeing, mama who knew how to sew and knew how to crochet and all kind of other stuff. And she wasn't alone in that in her age group.
Right.
Women of her age group knew how to do these things, knew how to plant food, all that, you know what I mean? So it's not that the stuff is being less accessible, it's that it's being made easier to just skip over the process. Well, I don't want to do all the work.
She made her own preserves. She could make her own jelly.
And why do you not want to do all the work it takes to do that? Oh, because the way the system is set up, now you have to work longer hours to make the same sort of living that you had to than you would have had to 50, 60 years ago.
It's all integrated plot. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing because you got to have a 2-income household to basically survive these days nowadays.
Yeah. Either that or you got to be breaded like a fish.
Genetically modified fruits are just as bad as the other genetically modified food. Period.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why a lot of people. You heard about the lady right now that was a vegan that just died from eating raw food or whatever. She was teaching people to eat the raw diet shit, whatever, right? And she just died from starvation. And history has shown that not only her, but a lot of people that choose the raw vegan diet are dying from malnutrition from that, because there's not enough nutrition to sustain life. Basically, you're gonna basically starve out.
I don't understand how is that possible? I don't
because it's not it doesn't have enough input. It's not inputting enough to stop you from starving. You lose weight, but you'll never get to a point where you stop losing weight and muscle and
protein. You need the protein, and so that's why, like if you go to Africa or Jamaica and you watch my daughter Kai, she watches this Jamaican man cook, and he cooks with a whole bunch of different fruits, and he uses legumes and nuts and all kinds of stuff. He very rarely uses meat though. But where he doesn't use meat, that's where peas and beans and nuts, mushrooms. Yes, all that stuff is in abundance, because you need all that to replace the meat that you're not using.
And if you look at real true vegans, some of them real ones, like they be on some skeletal shit. That's like I'm saying, it's not a balance. Like if you have a certain diet and you weigh 155 and you'll stay 155 forever, basically. You know what I'm saying? These people are having these diets and they can't even stay at their normal weight. Now they're down to 130, 125 and shit like that.
But okay, so I think the comment that Josh put up is related to that. They're not eating, because you got to think, man, a gorilla, a horse, some of the most muscular animals in the animal kingdom, are vegan. So
But it's
it's not
their
the
body
food.
breaks down. That's because their body and the acids in their stomachs break down that food differently than our body does.
But
Correct.
they're still herbivores just like we are. So
Right.
human beings by nature are not carnivorous. That's something that has been
We
adapted
don't
over
have our teeth alone prove that we aren't carnivorous.
and the length of our intestinal tract. So we're not designed to be carnivores. We're herbivores. So if the thing is, if somebody's starving, they're not eating the right foods. Because some of these people will be like, "Oh, I just eat a lot of greens and this, that, and the other." But you got to
Look at
think.
this. Look.
Oh, I ain't fucking with her. Here's the point that I'm making. Here's the point that I'm making. The protein that people say you have to eat meat to get, that protein exists in that meat because the animals, because think about it. You eat chickens, you eat pigs, you eat horses. I mean, you eat cows. Those are all herbivores. So where the hell you think they're getting their protein from? The same
Right.
shit that we duped ourselves into believing that we can't get it from.
But
It
those
exists.
same animals that those same animals that you just talked.
We would have to eat so much more though.
But those same animals that you just talked about are being fed corn. That corn feed that is what's building them up. Corn is not for the body.
He's saying that if they lived in a natural environment,
Right.
he's not
Right.
saying
So
on
I'm
the
saying
fucking
if you
farm
went
where they're
out,
fucking making them fucking freaks. He's not
if you
talking
went
about
out in
that.
the middle of Wyoming somewhere and you ran across a Mustang horse, you understand what I'm saying? He's gonna be anorexic. That nigga swole as shit.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's feeding him nothing. He's out there living off of natural forage and he's extremely muscular. You go out to the Congo and you find a gorilla that's living in the jungle. Nobody's feeding him nothing. He's swole as shit. You understand what I'm saying? But they're eating natural food from the ground.
But you can't leave out the part that they're all right. Google right now how much food, how much of that shit you're talking about does a gorilla or a horse or a cow consume in a day? And that's the difference.
It doesn't matter. That's not the
point. We're not eating like that.
Okay, that's not the point. The point I'm making is you can live off of a natural diet and survive. You do not have to have any sort of animal proteins whatsoever. There's too many herbivores in existence that proves that to be the case. That's all I was getting at.
A beaver eats nothing but natural stuff and not one lick of meat, and they are in abundance.
All right.
I was thinking too. Another thing
is makes the difference, Tavon. A male gorilla eats upwards of 45 pounds of food a day.
Okay. I didn't say we were trying to be swole like the gorilla.
But that's not, no, but I'm just saying.
What I'm making is though,
motherfuckers starve from eating raw shit, and that's how they starve because they didn't eat.
You're making my point for me. It wasn't that the food itself was starving them. That's the only point I've been making. There's no, oh well, if you eat that, you're gonna starve to death. No, they starved themselves because they was on some dumb shit. That's what I was getting at. So
well, it's important to know the herbs also. I think herbs are another thing that we don't really pay attention to, the value that it provides health-wise, or different things like soursop fruit, and things that it's actually good for your body. Certain herbs, certain remedies that were back in the day. I'm going back to the back in the day when people were using more natural stuff. I think these are things that we have to pay attention to now. We should get back into that kind of stuff as far as the fruits, the vegetables, but of course the herbs that we use to season our food with, they have a health value to them. We're just picking the wrong things.
Yes, spices, and that was another thing. Spices and herbs play a big deal in what we eat also.
See, this is how I feel. This is what I kept pointing out right here. What he said. how you have to have we have to have meat in our diet because animal bodies break down food differently to produce the proteins that give them the sustenance you're talking about.
I still call bullshit on that for a couple of reasons. Number one is one of the things you mentioned, that we do not have teeth that are designed to break down animal flesh. The components in our saliva and in our intestinal tract are not corrosive enough to rapidly break down animal flesh. Not only that, we have a much longer intestinal system.
Carnivores have short
carnivores. So
carnivores
that
have
dead flesh is sitting in our system for days longer than it would be
right.
carnivore.
Starts to rot and all that other shit.
So not only that, you look at, we black folks, you can't hand us a piece of meat that hasn't been seasoned at all. And what are you seasoning it with? Herbs and things that come from the ground. So if you have to Jedi mind trick yourself to make this meat that you claim we need taste like the things that we're saying doesn't really give us the sustenance, I mean, come on now. If we got to make it taste like vegetables for it to even be palatable, we're probably supposed to be eating that anyway.
Well, and I seen somebody make like some tacos and they crushed up walnuts, or they soaked them, and then they used walnuts and they made like a ground beef, but it was out of walnuts. Now, I don't know how good that would be for you.
Those are the vegans that die.
Is it? Okay. I don't know. I don't know, because I see all that stuff all the time, and I just be like, how did you make a taco and you didn't use ground beef, or you didn't use ground turkey, you didn't use no chicken, you didn't use any pulled pork, you made it out of some walnuts? I mean, it doesn't even seem like
this is key right here. Real carnivores can eat meat raw. That's how you know we're not real carnivores, because it makes us sick if we eat raw meat, because we don't have the same stomach composition that they have, basically. And the shit in their saliva, what they call it, that dogs have in their saliva, antibodies or whatever. Is it called antibodies? Come on, y'all. We all in our 40s and 50s here.
I know what you're talking about.
The shit that breaks down the food.
No, I'm saying, because he said real carnivores can eat meat raw. And I was saying the reason why we can't is because it makes us sick, because we don't have like antibodies in our mouth.
It's the enzymes you're talking about.
Enzymes, okay, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Something.
Mm-hmm. But that's correct though. They can eat it raw, and there's no consequence to eating it raw. You know,
that's just like.
And a horse that you was talking about, I just got to touch on that, eats 40 to 90 kilograms of food.
Okay, that's fine. So
that's why they're swole too.
But okay, so we just dial in the proper kilograms for our genetic.
It's a percentage of your body weight.
Yeah.
Is what you have to find. You eat a certain percentage of food to match your body weight, and as long as you're not putting fat in it, like say how I'm a big man, basically my bones is 200 pounds. So there's no like anything. If I don't percentage in something near my body weight, I'm basically gonna starve out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch back on something that you had said earlier, that they use certain things to make dog food. And it just came to me now, because yesterday we had got this dog food that we don't normally get, some cheap shit or whatever. And I went to go put it in the dog bowl, and Leia said, like, she's like, bitch, I don't want that shit.
I don't want to. Hey, look, I'm not a cannibal, is what she was saying.
And they haven't ate it either.
It's because it's dog in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So no, that's for real though. And when you drive past that rendering plant that I was talking about, the smell is horrendous. And I mean, it's not like you just pass the street and smell it. That whole little 2-mile section on either side of where the rendering plant is at, it's lit up. It's horrific. You know, you smell that.
The smell of the rendering plant is horrendous.
Oh, it's horrible. You know, you can
fuck was
smell
that?
the burning of the flesh and the fur on the animals. I
Toenails
mean,
and the
and
hair.
the stench.
Okay,
is
and I'm gonna
awful.
tell you something. They're doing something like that too down by the river, because the other day I was cleaning a boat, and then all of a sudden the downwind just, I'm like, somebody's cooking some flesh around here, and it
Where was
lasted
you
at the marina.
I'm saying the one by Miller's.
Yeah.
That's because they got that animal whatever thing down there.
Shelter. It's a shelter
Yeah,
down there.
and they probably have a crematorium at that shelter
Oh my
that
God.
they're using to get rid of the animals that they didn't euthanize.
Yeah.
When you smell it, you already know that's
Yeah.
death right there. It's
Yes.
it's unexplainable, but
Right. It's not
it's,
somebody
it's
cooking.
so
Not
distinct
somebody
that you know.
cooking. Yeah, it's different than somebody cooking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's bad. So what's the foods that give you the most electricity? That's a good one. That's a good one, because I mean, shit. Yeah, come on with it, because I'm for to Google it, but for the sake
I'm
of the
Googling it as
conversation,
we
come on
speak.
with it. You know?
Okay, so tell me this: is that so? That is, why did they put all these homeless people down by the river down there?
Shit, I don't know. What you think?
I don't know.
See,
I
we
mean,
can't believe it though. Like this is the thing about
Miller
the Google
Park used to
search.
be a spot. Miller Park used to be a spot where you could go and do the little chill thing on Sundays and all that other kind of stuff.
It still is. You
Not
just got to ride past them people.
Lemons. Lemons.
yeah, and inside of there is all the they're not just at the beginning, they're all the way through it.
Mhm.
Citrus fruit.
We can't see that. Okay, there you go. Citrus fruit. I would think that's probably correct.
Because it powers batteries and all that shit.
But it's funny when you look that up on Google. This is why I say you can't always trust the first thing you find on a Google search. This shit had the nerve to put yogurt on the list.
The first thing on Google is what they want you to believe.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, and it's a trap, because I know that people will try to book at our hotel and they say, no, I booked directly through you guys. I Googled it, and the first thing that popped up, that's your problem. The first thing that pops up is like a price line, a third party. It's ads.
Yeah, you gotta look at what you're looking at. Yeah,
right.
It's probably not what you're looking for. Mhm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Alive food still holds its frequency. Dead food is dead. That's why I'm saying about eating the dead flesh. Really, if we're thinking about things on a vibrational level, aside from it filling your stomach and giving you the illusion of being of taking in some measure of sustenance,
right?
What do you really get out of eating meat? On a
I was asking
level?
myself that on the days that when I had the meat-free week, and I was trying to figure out, like, the hardest part for me was the foods to substitute it with instead, because I want to have a sandwich, I want to have a meat when I'm cooking my dinner, but what is the real purpose of it? I couldn't figure out there to be a purpose other than I was just used to eating it.
Bread is all bad too, though.
It is very bad.
Bread is definitely bad.
Yeah. The sugars and the bleached flour that's used to produce that bread has a similar, and I'm basing this on my personal makeup, but if I eat bread or if I eat rice, that shit, it's like, man, I will be so full. That's why I said it's an inflammatory response in the intestines, because there's no way that little bit of rice should have me feeling like this. It wasn't even enough to have done this. So there's some other shit going on internally
every day.
But see, I think some of that stuff depends on the people, because I almost get the exact opposite from rice.
Yeah, that's why I said my personal makeup.
Well, and because the Asians eat a lot of rice. Asians eat a lot.
I like
of
the way rice passes through me.
One of the things before it rolls away, and Heather, no, we're not going to bite into the live chicken. It's crazy. But one of the other comments under hers was, we get our energy from a live food because it gives us electricity. We are electromagnet beings.
Okay. Where you see it? Oh, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy laughing at biting the live chicken.
Exactly. I was trying, because I was saying that makes a lot of sense. We are electromagnet beings.
Yeah.
And when we talk about vibrations, I'm not going to get into portals opening up or anything on that level on this conversation, but we have to look at our actual makeup, and
Well, that's why live food makes you salivate like that.
It really, a lot of things are really vibrational is where I'm going with this. And so energy is real, and we have to watch and protect our energy, whether it be the food that we consume, the conversations that we have, because it is all vibrational.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I see we got Q in here. You know, he's promoting for the carnivores right now. But I think there's the number one thing is, if you look up any carnivore,
Gorillas have canines.
They do, right? But we're talking about the sort of canines you would see on a dog or on a tiger or a lion or something of that something to that extent. You know what I mean? So we're not just talking about we have two pointed teeth on either side, on the top and bottom. You know, we're talking about shit that could actually rip through flesh. So
Mike Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off.
Canines aren't solely because some herbs and green vegetables are to break down in a raw form.
That's exactly where I was going. So yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think that it means that we're supposed to eat meat. And the number one reason why, like I said, is if you would look up any carnivorous animal,
the intestinal tract is shorter.
Much shorter, and the stomach acids are many times more corrosive, so that it's going to break that meat down much faster than a human's intestines could, and it's going to move through their system far more rapidly. You know.
Yeah, because a carnivore,
that's a fact that can't be ignored to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either, because a carnivore stomach acid has the capabilities to break down bones, nails, hair, everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so then this touches back onto what I was saying about them in these third world countries. In these third world countries, what do they use to burn to cook their foods? Is dung and woods and stuff like that, which is going out into the earth, and those same stuff that breaks it down is breaking stuff down in as it's spewing out into the air. Also, it's a cycle. All of it is a cycle, and once we learn the cycle, then we'll be better. I don't know how the cycle is supposed to start, but I know it's all a cycle. And when you start eating the wrong thing, and then it goes to the next wrong thing, to the next wrong thing, to the next wrong thing. If you do the right things and then keep doing the right things and doing more right things, then your circle becomes complete with right things. It's all a cycle.
So I had a question too. I seen something also about air fryers, and that there's specific kinds of air fryers that you should have instead of because something about the inside of what they're made out of, the way that you're cooking your food, that stuff is getting inside of your food. So you have to make sure that you have the right kind of air fryers. And the way the whole air fryer thing took off, I feel like there's something to that too. It's like, as far as preparing the food so fast and how it could.
Yeah. Well, food, once it reaches a certain temperature, some of the char on the food has
Carcinogens.
carcinogens. Yes, the char on the food contains carcinogens, and that's what contributes to cancer.
Okay.
So it's crazy. He said to look up heme iron, and I was over here looking it up. I pop up and I see exactly what I just found. He's breaking that down on here. So it's, I don't know. Like, I think there's just a lot of elements at play with the food that we consume that is directly related to a lot of the ailments that we see people suffering from in the United States. And when you think about that these foods that anybody would, like, we ain't the smartest people in any room, but hell, we figured out that this shit can cause cancer. But these scientists and all these whatever they are ists that work for the Food and Drug Administration that are saying that these foods are good for consumption, we're supposed to assume that they didn't figure it out. No, they knew. So what's the agenda?
Just like it's affecting the mental illness in people too, because everybody's body is not the same, and so everybody's body has its own different chemical makeup, and so what works for one person might not work for the next person, but they're categorizing everybody as a whole when they're doing stuff, and everybody's different. Some people can eat stuff that's not good for them and stay healthy as a fiddle. And
for a time.
Yeah.
For a time is correct. For a time is correct.
Look at me. That was me, basically. For 50 years, 45 years, I could eat whatever I wanted. Thin, fit. After 45, the body said, ooh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but when you see that, like you're saying, it happened at that time, that's just a manifestation of it that's visible to you. That shit been happening all along. So, like, even to Q's point, he's saying that, you know, there's a balance between the two, meaning that human beings are omnivores. They can eat both meat and vegetables.
That's what we classify ourselves as.
Right. We can eat that. But if we weren't eating that, you know, would we age as rapidly? You know, we see the effects on our skin from the sun and all this whole other shit that we have normalized. Would these things even be a part of our everyday existence if we were sticking to a natural diet? You see what I mean?
What Heather is saying is the true shit.
She took the words out of my mouth. And I was just coming back. I was coming full circle with that. She says the agenda is also work together with the pharmaceutical company for that medication for the diseases that are all the foods are causing. They both profit in the end.
They're the biggest drug dealers in the world.
Well, 100% true, which what got us on this whole conspiracy theory, you know, this where the conspiracy theories came from, was that very topic right there. It's just one more way for it all to lead back. Because I also seen a lady who was talking about treating cancer with a laser, the same kind of laser that you could pinpoint, instead of, she was saying, why does a person have to go through chemotherapy, lose their hair? Why wouldn't we be able to use a specific kind of laser to burn out that cancer where it's at? You know what I mean? Instead of having to go, but that they don't want that to come out because
what you're talking about is the cutting edge in tech and cancer that has taken place during our lifetime. That laser being able to pinpoint.
Right, but yet there's still thousands and thousands and millions of people who suffer from cancer, who are going to die, who are going through radiation, who are going through different treatments, because pharmaceutical and big pharma wants to make sure that people continue to pay them and line their pockets. That's what it's all about.
Well,
it's really not.
If you
it's not in the cure. The cash isn't in the cure.
If you keep eating the cancer-causing foods, even if they cure you of cancer, this is why the cancer comes back. And then secondary, if you're consuming the drugs to cure the cancer that cause cancer.
It's a never-ending cycle, you know.
Catch-22.
And you know, just to put it out there, anybody who wants to eat meat, cool. I ain't against that. you know.
Right.
But I think that there is a multitude of evidence that indicates that it's a diet that we have become accustomed to, but it is not one that aligns with our natural makeup. And that's all I'm really saying. And I'm on a journey to try to rid myself of shit that ain't natural, you know. And
Right.
it's starting with with not eating dead meat, dead flesh. You know, I'm not gonna do that no more. So,
Right.
but anybody who else is doing it, I'm not throwing no shots. You know,
It's
I'm
not
just laying
just
out the reason.
it's a multitude
I
of
think
things.
the longer you eat it, the more you realize you're poisoning yourself with it.
Right.
They had to
Because-
come up with something because after coronavirus, a lot of these people who were in these buildings, working in these buildings, breathing the same air in and it's circulating and everybody's breathing the same shit, are now at home. And so they're not able to put in the air what they were doing. Because if you notice, people who work in a building all the same, and people all eventually get sick at the same time, or it goes in cycles. You know, it's because of what they're breathing in the air.
It's
And-
environmental.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Miko, we see you out there.
What's
Hey
up?
to you too.
What up, Meek?
She said she at work, but I wanted to say a
Mhm.
shout out to her too.
Everything is planned out, have how they do things. And there goes Mitch McConnell again. Okay.
Oh, you've been his study today, baby.
Man, I ain't gonna laugh at that motherfucker ever again.
Laughing's catching, you know.
It sure is, man.
Yeah.
I think
It's-
that we
it-
broke down. Go ahead.
But I know when I went
No,
to
I
the
think he
grocery
was going the
store,
same place I was about to go. So go ahead. Yeah.
when I went to the
I
grocery
think we
store,
broke down.
Go ahead, sis.
No,
This-
you
she's
talk.
still-
You
she's
go
still
right
glitching.
ahead and get that off your chest. Go ahead, girlfriend. That's all you.
I don't even remember now.
Okay, go ahead, Mai. Go ahead, Mai.
I was gonna say I think that we broke down conspiracy theories and where they formate and how what it means to us, and things for other people to be on the lookout for, which is what we wanted to talk about today on the side. I think that we've covered so many different angles of it just to open up people's mind and as you always say, as we the four of us form for.
Oh shit.
She froze
Nah.
up.
Not
Out of the
right
box.
when it
That's
was
what this
getting
show is all
good.
about, and I think we provide several angles.
Yeah, you froze in the middle of that, so we missed a portion of what you were saying.
I think we covered the topic, is what I was saying. I think we covered the topic. I was just saying that the goal is to provide abstract thinking to make people think outside of the box. We provided several different angles, topics, and things for them to, when they're not watching the show, maybe think of or be mindful of by us bringing it to their attention.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think again, I think we was doing a pretty good job of breaking that down. It's crazy. It took a turn that I hadn't suspected. I thought we was gonna be so deep on the more like governmental shit, and then here we got, and I guess it's still all governmental, but
It is. It is
aspect of it, you know, because that's
Actually,
a big deal.
food is
You know?
probably the biggest one.
Yeah. That's a really big deal because we talk about the control factor that they're trying to have over us, right? And so it's been said that if you can control what you eat, then you can control every other aspect of you know, your own body, your own whatever you got going on. You know, if you can control the things you put in your body, you gain control over everything else. So that's why I agree that the food is probably the biggest one, because if we can get a hold of that, their ability to control other things that are in front of us is decreased tremendously, you know.
Well,
yeah.
I'm excited. I think season 2 was off to a good start. I think we covered a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
several different good points to things that I would have never even thought of. I think the information we shared was great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for everybody in the chat that tapped in, we appreciate y'all coming and listening, being a part of the audience and joining us and all of that, and your feedback and your interaction. It helps to make, for a good conversation. So we appreciate y'all, and keep on coming.
Yeah, Jeff, definitely enjoying the feedback, because like he said, this is what feeds the actual conversation we're having, and everybody can kind of throw in, their input or their statistics or their level of knowledge. And you see everybody's kind of knowledgeable. Obviously, I'm a fat motherfucker, so I know about food and what food does to you. You know what I'm saying? I actually have firsthand experience that the shit is obviously something wrong with it, because it's like Maisha said, I'm not sitting up eating a whole goddamn cow every day.
Right. Peace to you also, sir. Peace to you also, Josh. So is that a wrap for us?
Yeah, I think that pretty much seals it.
I love you guys. I love my brothers and sisters.
I love you too,
sis.
Love you
Yeah,
too.
without a
Glad
doubt.
to be
You guys
back
pissed
on
me
air.
off the other day, and I apologize for hanging up on you. But
Shout out to Tremaine, our other sibling.
What up, bruh?
I don't know, man. You got to work your way in here, bruh. This is a friendly environment over here.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's another thing. Since you mentioned that, one thing that we will be doing differently to our audience members, obviously, one thing we'll be doing differently this season is we will only be bringing people on the show if it is predetermined. We're not going to do on the fly. You in the conversation and get wrapped in. So if there's anything if anybody has an interest in being on the show, then slide in somebody's DM, and then we can let you know what we got on the agenda as far as topics, and we can work it from there. Yeah.
Also, I would encourage everybody to make sure that you follow each and every one of the hosts that's on the show. Go give us a follow on our social media platforms. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, and continue to tap in. No subject is off limits, or no feedback is off limits. We're open books, so bring it.
Yeah, come on with it. Yeah.
And thank you everybody who broadened broadened us with some of their thoughts and knowledge of things that we didn't know. Also, I know for surely I'm about to go back through and watch and look at all the notes so I can catch up on everything.
We'll see you guys again next Sunday, same time, same place.
Yeah. All right, y'all.